Hey guys, you're wondering probably why we're in a room that's not normally our room. That's because we are here, me, Daniel, if you want to come in.
What's up, man? Oh,
Oh yeah, it's a little low. We gotta get low on
what's
this.
up?
And Joe, he's behind the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he'll jump in every once in a while. So we're here at Texas Showdown, so we're doing some stuff, having fun as much as we can. But the main thing was is that this is entirely Daniel's idea. We are doing a top 20 comic book movies, and we'll narrow it down. We're gonna throw 20, like just out there, on there. This is to give you guys an idea. This is solely inspired by Maximilian Dude's top 10 games because those look like fun. There's three of us here. We can probably argue a bit, and plus, this is probably the best way for all of us to get together. So we're gonna just throw some out there. We're gonna eliminate some. You're gonna hear us like maybe argue a bit, and we'll try to keep it down as much as it possible because we also have like other people across the rooms. So we'll try to be people. And by the time we get to Comicpalooza, we'll definitely do this again, and we'll narrow it down. We'll have the top 10, and we'll organize from 10 to 1, 1 to 10, all that stuff. So I think it's best that we kind of go. We talked about this over some ground rules. One being a limit of like certain number of certain movies. Because Daniel brought it up.
Yeah.
There's like how many Batman movies?
Look, there's a lot of Batmans, there's a lot of Spider-Mans, and they're all amazing in their own right.
More than some.
More than some.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, I mean, I could add in Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, Amazing Spider-Man 1, No Way Home, Into the Spider-Verse, The Batman, Dark Knight Rises, Tim Burton's Batman. I mean, there'd be nothing but Spider-Man and Batmans on this list.
So, but yeah, we're gonna try to narrow it down. We will be arguing. We'll try to be civil. We will try to be civil.
I mean, there may be blood, but it's nothing new. We play fighting games. We had a little, fun with Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Sonic Fox is here as we speak. He's down in the lobby playing some matches. He is. I ran into him actually in the elevator today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, no, he's a very like lanky guy, but he's a nice gentleman. He's a good guy. But anyways, let's get started. All right. I'm thinking. There's a Sharpie here. I'll try to write as big as I can, and each one of us can throw one in there. We'll argue whether or not it should be up here. I'm gonna be the first one to write, and I feel it only makes sense, right, that we start with. I apologize for my writing. Superman 1.
And that's Richard Donner Superman.
Richard Donner Superman, classic, OG, first one on there. Man of Steel, fighting.
I mean, it's hard to argue against that, man. I mean, Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor and
exactly.
Christopher Reeves.
Exactly.
I mean, it's what popularized superhero movies.
Exactly.
Without that, I mean, like this came out before Batman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the original. It is the OG.
Yeah, so this is the original superhero movie. Like this basically laid the works. And you can turn a comic into a movie.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, while I gave it the legacy of that, I'll actually argue that Superman 2.
Okay. Okay. So do you mean like the Richard Donner's cut or the actual original theatrical release?
Oh, there's a Richard Donner.
There's the Donner cut.
There's a special cut of the movie.
I did not know that.
You didn't know that?
No, whenever it's on TV, I would just watch it, and then whenever I see it on Max right now, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna watch it again. I'll just play it on Max. I didn't even think it was a different cut.
No, it is a different cut.
No way.
It is a different cut. I think it's supposed to make a lot more sense too. But okay, so that's my question. Do we include specific cuts?
I
would say in a specific case, because if we were to add Justice League theoretically, then I would add the Zack Snyder cut.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, so I want to keep Superman 1. Dan wants to argue Superman 2, and this is why we have a third person, Joe.
Boy, it's really hard because I think both are good.
like they're both good movies, but I feel like we see Superman go into the action of being a superhero. I mean, he does the same thing in Superman 1, but it's played out everywhere. You see Superman like save, like a train from being derailed, literally spins the Earth backwards, to save Lois Lane and everything. But then
But it's so campy. It's just
like it has the comic book geez, but
yes, that's what you want from Superman. Like okay,
like there's nothing wrong with that because Superman 2 has that, but I still like that better more than 1.
I mean,
Because like with Superman 2, like
okay.
you got more into it because like it's like a cheesier version of Spider-Man 2 because like yeah, Superman gives up his powers and he realizes like maybe this isn't the way it should be.
Yeah. Okay. See, here's my thing. Superman 1 is the more like consistent one. It doesn't feel jumbled. There's a reason why they went and had a Richard Donner cut.
Yeah.
Because that one was kind of awkward. Here though, I argue that it's so straightforward and like good. It's hard to like really find anything that is generally bad. Maybe it didn't age well, but it's still a really good movie. That's all I gotta say.
I mean, what did you hear that decision breaker now?
No, I think you made a good argument for Superman 1. But it's, because, I think the thing with Superman 2, I think people always just go with, it's Zod and, the other Kryptonians showing up, that sort of thing.
Like I might have been spoiled like the new stuff because like we see like Lex Luthor go in and he actually goes on and fights Superman himself at times. And this one, he's just in the background. It's like, yeah, Superman, there's a bomb you must defuse. I'm gonna chill in my cave while you do your thing.
You also got to think about maybe the one you're thinking about is the Richard Donner cut.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, we need a tiebreaker on this one, Joe. It's gonna be you.
All right. If I'm gonna be, I guess the tiebreaker vote here, I want to say, like, in all honesty, it might be Superman 2, just because it has
Thank you.
Come
Come
on.
on, you got Zod. One of the most
It just
iconic
has a lot
Superman
of that.
villains.
Don't get me wrong, Superman 1 is good. It's just,
I
it's one of those.
have to concede that's the thing.
It's one of those like
Superman 2.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
come on, like it's so awesome. You got like General Zod walk into the White House with Lex Luthor walking in. It's like, yeah, look, I'm new with all the Kryptonians.
It's like Neo before Zod,
Yeah,
that's-
exactly.
Yeah.
Neo before Zod.
Yeah.
And
All right. I kneel.
Okay,
I kneel. Anybody else? Anyone want to throw it in there?
Yes.
There you go for it.
So, since we already talked about a sequel being on the list, I'm gonna go ahead and add another sequel.
Oh, I knew where you're going with this. Okay. That. I knew this is gonna happen.
Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2.
Okay. I don't disagree. It's bad. I don't disagree. But I think a lot of people are spoiled by this movie. I think Spider-Man 1 is better.
Look, I'm conflicted with this too. Like, I'm going with Spider-Man 2 because I feel like it's done more than what it did in Spider-Man 1, which I love because hands down, like as much as I love Alfred Molina as Dr. Octopus, I think Willem Dafoe absolutely killed it as Green Goblin.
Here's another thing that I feel like we need to talk about in Spider-Man 2. Yeah, and this is me personally. I feel Spider-Man 1 did MJ a little better.
I mean,
I get the point that the ending is supposed to be kind of like the Graduate,
yeah.
but I'm like, I don't know. I think I like Spider-Man 1 a lot better.
I don't know, like I like Spider-Man 1. There's a lot of potential things like the fight between him and Goblin at the parade and all that.
Did you the
But in the sequel,
the New York scene where it's like everyone's throwing stuff at the Goblin? Come on, dude!
like isn't there's like a New York scene in each movie?
Is there one in the third?
Well, yeah, third one is it's more of like you have the flag in the background when he's going after us.
Okay, that's fair. That's
Yeah,
fair.
But obviously, Spider-Man 2's whole New York scene is the subway. bit.
exactly.
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
subway. And
It's
come
like-
on, it's amazing because like they all noticed that who Peter was,
And then all of a sudden,
and they were like, we won't tell no one because they saved their lives and they know he can't be Spider-Man and people know who he is.
Yeah. I don't want to argue more, but
And plus the
it's
action.
hard to argue this.
And plus the action is so much. I hate to say it because I love Spider-Man 1's action too. But Spider-Man 2, there's just so much more. Like there's the clock tower fight, the subway fight.
Okay. Because the thing is, I like both. but I just feel like Spider-Man 1 is a little more like. I'm gonna sound like I'm repeating myself with consistency, but like I just feel like the Spider-Man 1 is just just a much more better film. Because I remember watching Spider-Man 2 when it came out, and I was like, this is kind of boring. Spider-Man 1 was a lot more fun.
I think you're just thinking about like all the time because Peter obviously
Like I think
powers.
yeah,
like,
Yours is power. Okay.
I think you're just focusing on the part where he decides, you know what, I don't think I want to be Spider-Man no more. It's just too stressful.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Joe, what do you believe?
I mean, again, both sides have good arguments. Listen, and this is probably gonna be a bit petty of me to say this, but I might be willing to put over Spider-Man 1 because of the ending song by Nickelback.
Yes.
That listen, it's a good song.
Nickelback though.
Nickelback is not as bad as people say. Is all I'm gonna say.
Like, okay, so tell me, if I ask you about this one song, is it about like the picture or something remembered?
Yeah, something about a photograph in a frame. Trying to
yeah.
look at it.
Yeah.
Every time.
Look, I'm personally not a fan of Nickelback.
No.
Like
you like certain songs, but not the whole group.
Like, I mean, there's a
The whole
reason
set
why
list.
Harmonix came out with a fake project name, Rock Band Nickelback, so no one will look into the game or what they were working on.
All right, you coming out with all these allegations and shit. All right,
Like,
okay.
like,
But it's
okay. Like, look, I'm from the Leanness, Doc Ock, he's great. We saw a lot of humanity with him, but there was the Green Goblin. I'll agree that he probably is like a greater villain.
It's gonna be hard for us to argue with him because he's so stuck on this though.
Look,
He's so
again,
stuck.
I'm letting you know, I like Spider-Man 2 more than 1, but I think Green Goblin's a better villain than Doc Ock in the movies because, like, you do see the sheer brutality that Willem Dafoe does as Green Goblin.
What do you think?
Like,
do you think we can still continue to argue this, or do you think let it go?
For what it's worth, Daniel does make a lot of good points.
He makes a lot of good
I
points.
thought my Nickelback argument worked out. I don't think he's given up.
I mean,
So,
like,
he's
the
not
drama is good in there too, because you see Spidey, struggling to balance his work and real life.
I will argue that a lot of people really overcomplicate like MJ in these movies. I will say oversimplify her. She's a lot more like of a character in these movies and in the comics than the movies do. But that's just aged. That's just how it is nowadays. Like, it just didn't age well in that aspect. But
Like, it's gonna happen regardless.
yeah, it's gonna happen
I mean,
regardless.
I feel like whatever like superhero movies are doing with certain characters, it's not gonna do well later.
No, it's not.
all right.
All right. I think we're gonna have to settle on
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
yeah. I feel like
Joe.
because this is the thing too, right?
It's like-
that I think
Because
we all agree Spider-Man 2 is a good movie.
Yeah,
Obviously.
it's phenomenal.
Given the
we
situation of the rules, right? We have to pick one.
Like,
right?
one of the trilogy.
yeah, like,
Right.
I like better action, better drama.
Yeah.
The villain, Green Goblin's a lot better
Yeah.
than Doc Ock, but a villain can't carry everything.
No. This is what happens. We started off way too good. What do you got, Joe? You got anything for us?
All right. So obviously, we talked a lot about this. So I feel like I think I have to be the one to throw down the gauntlet here, just to make this easier for ourselves. That is not. That's supposed to be a D, by the way. Sorry, my brain is a little racked, but.
We do not have enough space for maybe 10.
You're gonna put
I could have gone TDK, but I mean, listen.
Okay, see, I'm not
Obviously,
going to argue that. I'm not going to argue that.
If we're going to be talking about the best comic book movies of all time, obviously we have to talk about The Dark Knight Rises, right?
He's not
How
wrong.
about Dark Knight? Just The Dark Knight, right?
Yeah.
Because, again, it's won awards. It's been critically acclaimed.
It set the standard.
You know,
It
like,
set the standard for what
people-
comic movies can be.
I believe this is the first time a superhero movie won an Oscar because of a performance, right?
Yeah, it did.
yeah,
it
when Heath
was-
Ledger
it did
Joker,
performance.
rest his soul and stuff,
Yeah, Heath Ledger.
But,
And
like you said, it set the
It
standard.
set the standard.
It
set the
it
standard.
straight up, people were like, comic book movies will never be the same. They can never be like The Dark Knight. It's like everybody compares every single comic book movie that comes out to The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
So clearly, it has to be not only on this list.
I mean,
No, you're wrong.
yeah,
You're wrong.
I would agree.
Let's be honest, right? Batman Begins
Yeah.
is still a solid movie,
It is.
right? Liam Neeson, Ra's al Ghul, solid villain, right?
Yeah.
And Dark Knight Rises, right? Is
Man,
you know like friggin' Bane. Bane's a good. I like Tom Hardy as Bane, but at the same time, there's a lot of stuff about the Dark Knight Rises that just feels
Yeah.
It's not as good as the Dark Knight. Let's be real with ourselves here.
when did this movie come out? 2021?
Oh, you're talking about Patterson?
Yeah.
I think it
You
might.
just put it on 2020. There hasn't been another Batman.
It's like, recent. I'm willing to argue the Batman. Matt Reeves' Batman.
Matt Reeves' Batman.
Yeah.
Like, which I get. I mean, like, while the movie has action and but less compared to the Dark Knight or the other Batman movies.
Well, he's
Like, we do see the detective work. We do see the detective
that's
work.
that's my thing. Like, there's a little more humanity in this one. And then we'll get to that when we get to that, right? But I want to argue that this one has sort of the most humanity in Batman compared to most of the other Batman movies that's come out.
Yeah, we really do see Bruce Wayne sort of struggle and stuff.
Yeah.
That, like, how,
I mean, and also, I believe he's just starting out as Batman. Cause, like,
Yeah,
you see-
year one,
It's
year two Batman.
inspired by the year one comic book.
Yeah, because like, we do see some things where like he's still like a new hero. He's still like learning the ropes of using his tool set. Like for example, the wingsuit.
Yeah.
All right, we went hard on this one. Anyone got one?
Let's see. I'm trying to.
The
Like-
Sharpie's right here.
I want to put in a movie that isn't Spider-Man or Batman, but that's all I got in my head right now.
Okay.
I think
You got one?
I think I have one. Just to get ourselves a little bit out of this sort of
Yeah.
big three, Superman, Spider-Man, Batman shenanigans, right? All right. Okay, let's go into a bit of the other movie that came out in 2008 that essentially revolutionized comic book movies.
Oh, you're right.
Iron Man, the first Iron Man, right? Because let's be honest, right? Iron Man 2 is kind of okay. It's pretty mid, Yeah,
But
you
it tried to be Demon in the Bottle. It tried to
yeah,
be Demon in the Bottle.
but they couldn't do it
Yeah.
because it just feels weird to do Demon in the Bottle storyline in the movie, right?
Mhm.
Iron Man 3, I liked it personally. I understand most people were very
No, yeah,
mad about
the
it
whole
when it
point.
came
The whole
out.
point of that movie was like, the suit doesn't matter. It's not about the suit for Tony. It's about who he is.
Yeah, and obviously, Mandarin reveal, right? Fake out,
Yeah.
People
that-
were
that-
upset
that-
about that.
yeah.
He got retconned and fixed in later movies, right?
No, yeah.
So,
Oh, I'm just an actor.
yeah, I'm just an actor. And personally, I was fine with it because, let's be honest, original Mandarin in his OG comics was definitely not like,
No.
I understand what, why people would want it, Mandarin to be in these movies because, that is
Yeah.
kind of Iron Man's focal bad guy in the comics. But I'm glad how it turned out.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree with that.
Yeah. Anyways, Iron Man,
Yeah,
original
so-
Iron Man. Think
so,
about it. Right?
While we're in the realm of Marvel, let's step out of the MCU into the Fox universe.
Oh boy.
Oh, okay. So which one are we going with? Because I
Oh,
feel
I
like
see where he's going. That is a great pick.
Oh.
That is a great pick. That honestly,
that is a good
let
pick.
that
That's
yeah.
a good pick. That for me is like one of my favorite.
Like it is a great send off to the Fox universe as well, even though like we have Deadpool and Wolverine now, but it is a great
It's a different Wolverine though.
Yeah, the worst one. Like the Deadpool and Wolverine has the worst one. Like
Yeah.
he's already dead in the movie, but yeah. But this is a great send off at the time for like the Fox movies because it was pretty much the end. It got bought out by Disney, and God knows when the New Mutants was going to come out there in that time.
Yeah. For this one. And I'm willing to let you guys argue on which one we put on here. Or you know what? I'll save that for later. It might be a little small, but I'll read it out.
Oh, all right.
watch
Okay.
Watch it.
Interesting. Okay.
I haven't seen that film yet. I've been holding it out until I can actually read the comic.
Fair enough. You actually, that means you have no word. But you read the comic.
I've read the comic.
You've
I
seen
watched
the movie.
like
It's not perfect.
It is not perfect.
But it establishes the idea that you can make them as close to perfect you can, like it's image to image, I guess, wise.
Yeah, like Zack Snyder, for as much criticism you can give him about how he took on his take on the DC universe, he does definitely have, like, Watchmen was his favorite comic, so he put a lot of love into it.
You can see the inspiration in like all the comic movies he tries to do.
Yeah, like you can, like, obviously you have arguments about whether or not he understood the material or whatever.
I mean, this is
all
pretty,
day,
I know for sure
but-
that that's the movie that actually got DC to say, yeah, I think this guy gets DC, so we're gonna have him control the DC movie universe.
Potentially, I think, you know, because again, it's like, it's not like Zach doesn't, like, I think he's always had a style of, like, trying to recreate the comic stuff. I mean, you know, 300, right?
I'm
He
just
did
gonna,
that.
I'm just gonna throw them on here. We're not even gonna go down the list. I'm just gonna throw it on here.
Yeah, we might start running out of room here. Oh, yes, that is indeed not part of the main
Stop
big
putting on
two.
more stuff I haven't seen yet.
V for
Trying to argue
Vendetta.
against that.
So you don't, you just give me the basic knowledge of the comic, but this is kind of however you feel about it. It is essentially what V for Vendetta would be in a modern time, kind of where that it's straight, short and straight to the point. You miss a bit of the more of the nuances, but it is not a terrible adaptation in my opinion.
Yeah.
It is really good. It's one of my favorites. Anybody else? Yeah, go for it.
Thanks. So I'm gonna get a lot of y'all people debate against me. There's a second one out there. I'll just write it down and we'll debate over which one.
Oh yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy.
You know what? I think I'm gonna go with the first one just because like of what it did. I mean, I know like, cause like the second one's really great too, but the thing is, Guardians, it let studios know you can take something relatively unknown, people didn't care at the time, and made it something amazing that people do care. I mean,
I'm willing to argue maybe 3, but that's a hard it's a difficult one for me to argue. Usually, because I mean, for most of the time, it's usually the first one that's kind of hard to top.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
what was the director's name? I can't remember.
James Gunn.
Yeah, James Gunn. I mean, like it's completely different to the Guardians that we knew before.
Yeah.
But he did a great job, and it's still like lovable characters and all that. And he's been doing a great job. And it shows case after case that you can do something great with characters that no one knows. Like we got Peacemaker. No one cared who Peacemaker was until the Suicide Squad.
Yeah. Most people still don't know who Peacemaker is in the comics.
I mean,
They just take it as John Cena.
yeah, no, they just think it's John Cena or something from the Max show. But still, like it showed that you can take something unknown and make it popular. I mean, Marvel decided to take a risk without Gunn with movies like like the Eternals. Granted, not as good as people would have thought.
I
or
like
hoped.
Eternals. But
Really?
I did like Eternals. Although I'm a sucker for like people like learning humanity, things that aren't human learning humanity.
I mean, no,
Like
don't get me wrong. I like those movies, like the one that came out recently with like the Wild Robot. I think.
Yeah.
Like that's a great movie, but
That one just didn't translate too well on it.
yeah, like the Eternals. Yeah,
And I like the movie.
Way too long too.
I think maybe that's what it was, but also I think people were looking for something completely different.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it was. It was different in a good way, but I think it was still like it wasn't like different. The different people wanted.
I'm gonna put in volume 2 now. I don't know. I'm just thinking like the humor is a lot more in there, and also like
It's a lot more emotional.
it is. It's a lot more emotional. It's like that.
Compared to 1, but like I would argue 3 is probably the.
That's another thing about James too. He knows how to pull your the strings too. Like I'm legit like shed a tear watching the ending for this.
3 is also pretty good.
Oh yeah, 3.
But I think we could settle on 2.
Yeah, I think that probably.
Yeah.
It probably is.
Because 3 was more Rocket, 2 was everyone else.
Yeah.
Minus a couple, maybe 2 characters, but yeah. Alright, Joey, I think you're gonna be upset with this one because I know how you feel about this movie. But I feel like we will be doing a disservice if we don't at least think about adding it, and that is, and I'm gonna paraphrase it. Zack Snyder's Justice League.
And that, like,
I haven't seen the original or the new one. Like it's a 4-hour movie, dude.
for our movies.
Like I haven't seen it, but
But people will put this up. That's kind of why I threw that in there for people who want to want like just to make it fair, right?
like I was gonna say, it's like during like Zack Snyderverse or whatever.
Yeah.
Like even though the Justice League is probably the best movie out of all the movies in the Snyderverse,
His Justice League.
yeah, like it, yeah, not the Joss Whedon version because
Yeah.
he wasn't able to do the filming, but
I like we'll get to that when we get to that. Yeah.
I mean, because look at Wonder Woman, it was a good movie, but still compared to like all the other Marvel movies coming out at the time, like it still doesn't compare to those.
Yeah. You want to add one?
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like if we are going to talk about some movies, why not talk about Captain America?
Which one?
Are you talking about the one from the 70s?
No. We'll go with Winter Soldier, WS.
Oh, that's a good one.
Don't get me wrong, Civil War
I love
is
Civil
definitely a
War.
good movie, but when you really
I love Civil War.
Like,
when you
when
break
you
down
look at
to-
Civil War, it's just basically Avengers 2.5.
Is
yeah,
that
exactly,
wrong, though?
exactly.
Is
It's
that
basically
wrong
Avengers
though?
2.5.
Because ideally, like if you're like this is a comic book world.
Like
We got
I
like let's do like Marvel, DC comic book worlds. They have a bunch of different characters running around, and this is one of those ones where they can all interact, and it works.
like I mean it works, but like here's the thing. So like with Civil War, I mean like
But okay, so I'll say this.
Yeah.
I'm willing to give it to Winter Soldier because, and I think I know where you're going with this, right?
yeah.
The fact that people call it 2.5 because people immediately feel like there's this weird situation where people feel like
Like
it's connected with all
like
the characters.
if you want to have like one or two superhero along with Captain America for that film, that's fine.
Yeah.
Then yeah, because it solely focuses on Captain America. But the fact that the whole plot of Civil War revolves around all the heroes,
Yeah.
then yeah, that becomes an Avengers,
Yeah.
thing.
But here's my thing, right? It's still essentially like Cap's story, right?
Yeah, and I see what your argument
Yeah.
is that at the end of the day, we're mainly looking at Cap. Cap is still our through-line protagonist,
Exactly.
Yeah.
and you know,
And like I think the reason people will tend to call it like 2.5, right? For 3, like I'm with you. I'm going Winter Soldier. But out of the 3, I would go with Winter Soldier. I love all 3 movies. I would go Winter Soldier. But I think the reason why people call it 2.5 is because they can't wrap around the fact that because we're also used to them all being just Avengers.
Yeah.
But sometimes in comic books you'll have like Spider-Man working with Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, all the Defenders, and all that kind of stuff. And that's normal for Spider to have to do, right? Or even any of the Avengers. But it's still being a Spider-Man book. I think that if Virginia alliances can be confusing, but I will agree. That's a good one. How many do we have right now?
that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That might be 10.
That's 10. Do we want to go to 15? Just for like a good number and just
Like-
kind of stretch them out.
Maybe a little more, but
20?
I would put like 20.
Yeah. Because there's one I was thinking about right now that,
Like, okay.
or do you want to take it?
Like, let me go before I forget.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna be a little weird and pick a straight to DVD movie.
Oh,
It's
all
alright.
right.
You are being weird.
Okay.
Like,
Unconventional.
you're gonna question me about this, but I thought this movie was actually really good. That made me watch all the other animated movies.
Flashpoint,
Yes.
the animated direct-to-DVD movie. Flashpoint.
I might be the only one on this, but I don't know. Like, I feel like this is the movie most people like go to when they talk about a good adapted comic book animated film from DC. And this is the movie that made me actually go want to watch all the other animated movies like Justice League War, Doom, and all that stuff.
Right.
I mean, like, it's a great story. I think it was adapted well. I mean, we got to see like Reverse Flash, go in, do his thing. It was me, Barry. It was me all along.
Remember when you're making out with your first girlfriend?
You remember that Miss Infood at that NBC2 tourney you went to? It was me.
I had to look up the list to see if I was right. This is considered one, and I'm gonna throw it on there because I think it'd be really interesting to see people's perspective on this one. M.I.B.
Men in
Men
Black.
in Black.
It's a
Right,
comic book movie.
yes.
You're right.
Technically
It's
you
a-
are
It is a
correct.
comic book
But
movie.
which one? Which
I'm-
Men in Black?
I will. There's only one you really need to focus on.
Three?
No. One. The first, the original.
Really? Because I feel like people like Men in Black 2 a lot.
People like Men in Black 2, yes, but I feel like Men in Black 1 set the standard.
It's the one with Michael Jackson in it, isn't it?
No, that's the one. That's 2.
Okay, never
No,
mind.
was that too?
That was 2.
He was
I thought it
Agent
was one.
No.
J, right?
Agent J. Yeah, that was. No, because 1. So Men in Black 2 only happened because Men in Black 1 was so good they're trying to do it again. Bring back, that's why they brought back Tommy Lee Jones, right?
Yeah.
It has a sequelization effect.
Yeah.
Like let's bring everybody back. It's like no, but Tommy Lee Jones' story was complete, finished. Man, Road to the Sunset. But that's kind of why I argue 1.
That's definitely interesting. It's because I think I like how a lot of your picks are definitely more of the outside of Marvel DC.
Yeah, because it's good. It's too easy to go Marvel DC.
Yeah.
That's kind of like why let me double check to see if this is considered a comic movie.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like it is. Think about it now, and you two might argue with me on the authenticity or the accuracy of this one.
You got another one.
I got another one, man. My head is rolling, man. You got the right guy to do
Because I
this.
think what it is. I think what it is. George Lincoln, man. I knew it. Scott Pilgrim.
Scott
Pilgrim. Yes, that is.
Like I was
It
thinking
is,
about putting that.
yes, it is an indie book.
Yeah.
Though you also gotta add to the fact of how the correlation of like when this movie was made compared to the books.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not talking about the anime. Much as I love the anime.
Yeah.
I love that anime.
I mean, they're all different in their own way, even the book
Yeah.
and the movie.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the point, isn't it?
Yeah. Gosh, yeah. Scott Pilgrim. I mean, at the same time, I do sort of wonder, just from like how accurate. Like, I mean, the ending is definitely what probably gets a lot of people. Like, it's definitely different from the comic, but that's only because the movie
just to,
finished making.
I'm putting bullet points just to get us to know where we're at.
Yeah, just like.
To just keep track of numbers.
Yeah.
Because we're just throwing these bad boys out.
I got one.
Okay, give me 1 second.
It might be slightly another. We might be going back in a direction, but many people would argue that.
Here's a quick question: am I allowed to put in movies that hasn't come out yet?
No.
Okay, so
We
I
can't-
can't put in James Gunn Superman then.
No, we can't do that. The movie's not out yet. We can't decide if it's good.
Is it hype? Yes.
Yes. Actually, you know what? I have two. Both of them animated movies. Both of them animated movies based on popular characters that we already have on here.
Spider-Verse.
Yes, one is Spider-Verse.
Which one though?
I will say
I'm
the
going with the first one because we still
First
haven't got the third one.
Yeah.
First one definitely. Second one, as much as hype as that
Like-
was, it ends. Empire
we're
Strikes
still
Back,
in-
right?
Yeah, we're still in that
Cliffhanger,
cliffhanger,
right?
man.
Yeah.
Spider-Verse, second one. The anticipation.
Lego Batman.
Lego Batman.
God damn it.
Lego Batman. The only modern Batman movie that has brought back the Bat family. Batgirl. Robin.
Yeah.
Right? It gives us a Batman that has now achieved the next arc of Batman's storyline. Because all these other Batman movies still have him being grounded, being, without the Bat family. The Bat family is the next chapter of Bruce Wayne's life, of like no longer being alone. Having people that he can support and rely on and stuff. Lego Batman is probably the most Batman movie of all time. And I'm tired of people putting it down.
He's not wrong. Very good point. He's good, very good point. Okay, I got one. Because we're almost getting to 20.
Big Hero 6.
Fuck. I'll let you add that one.
I'm sorry to tell myself that it's a great movie. It's a good
But does it belong in this pantheon here?
Yeah, and it's the longing.
I love the movie. I don't think it's up there though.
Okay, so then I'll put it in mine because I feel like people will be pissed if we didn't have this one.
Right.
We all may have varying feelings about this movie, though. I'll say this.
300.
Shaker, but it is a comic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I brought that up earlier too. All right. I mean,
It's Sparta.
It's Sparta.
this is Sparta, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, again, it's Zack Snyder being very good at like adapting a
We
comic
have
book.
3 Zack Snyder films.
Yeah, like
Does anyone want to add Man of Steel? I think I'm okay without it.
I would rather put Superman Returns over Man of Steel.
I think I'd rather keep Superman too.
Yeah.
well, I mean, technically, does that count as part of Superman in those first like 4 movies? Because those are all clearly together in Superman. Yeah, I guess.
Okay. There's one that we haven't had, and I'm willing to argue with you guys which one, like which number of this film do we have? And I'm gonna have to write it small on this one, but we will know. So. The Avengers.
Endgame.
Endgame?
Ooh, that's a interesting dilemma there. Because personally,
The first one, I'm not saying the first one.
Yeah.
The first one really was the one to bring it together. If that movie failed, we wouldn't have this kind of cinematic universe.
Those are the insane risks because not only you're having all these heroes together, but you're also having all these big name actors together as well. So they're taking not just
And making it work for an audience that doesn't know shit.
and this was an unheard of idea. Like we know about sequels, but we never heard about like separate hero movies, all connected to one thing.
It was impressive.
Like there was plans for like back then. Like I heard like Spider-Man with Sam Raimi's Spider-Man was supposed to connect with Daredevil with Ben Affleck, but that never went anywhere. But yeah, this is actually like the first time this was done.
no, because here's the thing. Personally, I would go Infinity War.
No.
Because here's the thing. As much as Endgame, as good as Endgame is, it does not work without Infinity War, right?
That's right.
Because originally
You're
it
right.
was a 2-part movie, and Infinity War on its own is just like it's probably the
But Endgame led up to this moment. Like we're just
Like, yeah,
Everything
Endgame
did.
it's not it's not just every hero. It's literally every single character
yes,
in
yes,
the
yes,
entire
yes.
legacy.
It's set up the fact that how do you top this?
Exactly, because you even got like Pepper Potts in there and all the other like side characters that you didn't think you would see again. They all come back.
Yes, yeah, no, I definitely understand. I definitely agree with all that. It's just that Endgame is that sort of Endgame is the culmination of everything, right? It's like I would probably compare it to like the best dessert you could possibly have after having a 5-star dinner, but Infinity War is the dinner. It is what you can't.
He's
Got
right,
for it,
though.
right?
He's right.
Endgame is just all the extra
Also,
stuff, all the extra flavoring, everything else.
Like they both have their emotional moments too, but I feel like at the end with Tony's sacrifice, it's such a greater impact.
And that's my argument though. Like if we talk about because you can't deny this is the $1 million franchise.
Yeah.
It is the thing that everyone has talked about. Where do you put that up there? And if you do, if we're limiting it to like one of this film franchise, which one would it be? It has to be between 3 and 4. That's the thing. And I'm willing. And here's the thing. I want to go with Infinity War. No, I know. I'm a Cap fan. Seeing him hold the hammer,
Come on, again, like she, he literally grabs Thor's hammer.
no, yeah.
I thought it was like I knew it.
I know, but see, here's the thing. That movie is more hype than story. As much as I love it.
But I mean, there's still a story.
There's still a story.
Like
but there are times where that movie felt like it was. Everyone's like, we made it, guys. We did it.
It'd probably be what people like to call No Way Home, of just nothing but fan service. Like I think Endgame has definitely a lot of what essentially is just fan service.
Not in a bad way.
Not in a bad way.
Because whenever people hear fan service, they think of something like just poor and just like
because you're doing it,
jangling the keys.
yeah, it's like you remember this catchphrase from like 1999? We brought it back for this movie reboot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I did with Ellie and Romulus. Like there's a bunch of like catchphrases they kept saying in the movie. It's like,
really? Damn.
like it's still a great movie, but yeah, you can obviously tell they just put it in because we want some fan service in there. But yeah, I guess I get it, but it's 2 against 1, so I guess I'll let you have it.
Okay.
So
Infinity War.
So I'm gonna put in the hot take because technically a lot of people don't like either of these movies, but I do like one of them. So
How many are we at this point?
all right, and y'all are probably gonna hit me on this too.
Okay, all right, go for it. It'll be number 19, and then maybe one more.
Small because we're running out of series.
Yeah, maybe we get one more, and then that's.
I'm not against. Wait,
Not the Ang Lee one, the MCU one.
I would argue the Ang Lee one though.
Nah.
Yeah. That one was like such an art house film though. I'll say that.
Like I'll give it. It's unique with the cinematography. Like how like.
No, yeah,
how
it's
like kind of like comic panels in a way.
yeah, it's very art house. It's very that, but I do agree that it's just a really weird film and it's kind of hard to follow. But if you're a Hulk fan,
Yeah.
that kind of works.
Like it
But-
works. There's still some weird choices like making versus Dad like
The Absorbing Man.
Yeah, the Absorbing Man. But I don't know. Like the Incredible Hulk has what I want to see. The Hulk fighting another giant monster. And they like Abomination and come on, like he has everything here.
You didn't like Hulk punching some dog testicles?
That was funny. It was funny.
For the first 2 times.
But I mean, like, what I want to see is destruction. What we do see in Lee's film.
Here's the thing with that movie, and I'm not taking it out because I'm a Hulk fan.
Yeah.
It's really weird of a movie still. Like it's kind of hard to follow.
I mean, both in a way are kind of
Yeah. Hulk is a weird character.
like
I love Hulk.
no, like I love Hulk too, and I want to see angry Hulk again.
I do too.
But these are the only 2 movies I have to
Alright,
go out.
alright, guys. Alright, okay. So let's see what we have so far. We have room for 1 more, and then we have to eliminate 10. Right. So, you guys see that? I'm gonna read them out, audience. The 19 that we have. And Joey, just keep counting, just because make sure we have 19. Because
I only have 10 fingers.
You can count the other 10 then. Okay. So we have Superman 2.
Yes.
V for Vendetta.
Yeah.
300. Guardians Volume 2, because we had to decide between one of the trilogies. Zack Snyder's Justice League. Spider-Man 2. The Dank Knight. The Flashpoint movie. Actually, I'm going to put like a game next to it so we know it's animated.
I mean,
Well, I
Batman
mean,
animated
the
too.
Flash movie
And
is
Lego
called
Batman.
Flashpoint.
Well, that's just for us to know it's the animated film.
Okay.
I mean,
So
like,
where was I?
I would have put out the Flash if we were talking about that movie, but we're not.
Fair enough. So what number were we on?
8.
8. Alright. The Batman. Matt Reeves Batman. Batman. Avengers. I'm gonna break just break 3.
Mm-hmm.
Men in Black. The Man of Iron. Watch Dash Men. Lugan. Run. Mr. America. Winter Soldier, aka that one time Hulk Hogan wore a mask.
I don't think that's the wrong movie. I don't even.
I don't remember.
That's
That was a specific era of wrestling, bro.
Like, I would want to say, like, does this happen in WWE?
Yeah.
yeah.
The Incredible Shoulder.
Why not?
Scott Pilgrim, Lego Batman, Spider-Verse. So that is how many?
19.
19. We have room for 1 more. Gentlemen, what do we think? Is there a movie? Is there a franchise? Oh, you know what? And I'm willing to let you guys argue on this one. I think I have one.
It better not be Dragon Ball Evolution.
It's not.
Well, that's not.
God, no.
Well, manga's technically a comic.
Yeah. You know what?
I was thinking of Edge Tomorrow, but that kind of depends on how people will feel. I feel like those usually depend on the specific person. Can't believe we didn't add it.
Black Panther.
Panther. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Now, a lot of people say it's a good movie, but maybe not top 10 or 2, but I want to throw that in there. Do you guys want to put the first or second?
I probably would go with first.
First?
yeah,
Vision Huerta.
because granted, the second one is definitely really emotional, but that's partially because of the passing of Chadwick Boseman.
That's true.
Adding a lot to it.
Okay.
But yeah, I probably would go with one just
Yeah.
because
Mm-hmm.
it does. I think it did a really good job of bringing up, the Black Panther like soul world
Yeah.
into the world of the MCU and stuff.
The
So
mythos behind the Black Panther as well.
yeah, I thought it did a pretty good job of doing that. So for what it's worth.
All right, gentlemen.
All right, guys, we took a bit of a break. We are at attorney, so we do kind of have to get the matches.
Don't worry about how that'll turn out. Well, it's yeah, don't worry. Not great. So we have our 20. And what sucks is that while we were out, we kind of remembered some other ones that we're not going to add them. We agreed hard 20.
Like,
Too late now.
like, we could do like a reboot, rematch, or whatever, maybe in the future. But
Yeah.
this is the list from now.
All right, so we have 20.
Yeah.
Now the goal. Look at you, audience. The goal is to reduce it to 10. So we'll bring that out to Comicpalooza. So I will be the first to erase one. And I will see if you guys agree with such statements. I will say to get rid of 300.
I would agree. Good movie, but compared to everything else on this list, it doesn't compare.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that too. Like, don't get me wrong, 300 is a good movie. It's a solid movie. But when we're talking about just overall quality and stuff, I mean, like, I think there's a lot of other superhero movies on the list that definitely probably trump it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. I think it's one of Zack Snyder's earlier films. I do feel like this is more of a quality over substance kind of a thing. All right, who wants next? Who's willing to argue one?
Let's see here. Let's see. Somebody all might be against this one, but I would remove Men in Black.
Oh,
I mean, like, I like Men in Black. It's a great movie. I mean, Tommy Lee Jones, Will Smith, they were great in that movie.
but you don't think of it as a comic movie. You think of it as like a fun
Like-
sci-fi movie.
Like, it is a fun sci-fi movie, and I don't want to say it's so different from the source material, because that's the same with Guardians. Like, it is so different with the characters from the comics. Because, like, if you actually read the comics, it's actually like a dead series, and instead of like actually using the neutralizer to wipe people's memories, they straight up kill them.
That's true.
And like, I like this movie, but like, it's a good movie. I like it. I probably wouldn't put it in the same ranks as like Spider-Man 2 or Avengers or Logan.
What do you think?
I would have to agree with Daniel here. As much as I like Men in Black, like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to compare Men in Black to say Dark Knight or Logan or some of these other movies. It's
Yeah.
kind of like, does it deserve a spot in like top 10 comics of all time kind of thing, or comic movies of all time?
Yeah,
Like I said, you don't think of it as a comic movie.
because like I would, because even like removing like all the heroes, stuff that we got here, I would like suggest like I would even say like Scott Pilgrim is a better comic book movie than Men in Black.
I agree with that. You go ahead. All right, that's 2 down.
Okay, so if I'm choosing a movie to cross out on the list here. Okay, see. I feel like all these have
That's very reasonable.
reasonable, discussion.
Probably hard.
Yeah. Personally,
I think I know where he's going.
I think if they're gonna cross one of these out, I'm gonna have to go with. Actually, it's down to 2 that I'm like debating right now.
Okay, what 2?
Flashpoint and Zack Snyder's Justice League.
I could agree to Flashpoint.
I only say Flashpoint gets crossed off only because, like, as good of an adaptation of the Flashpoint story it is, like, I feel like there isn't the weight of that stuff.
Yeah.
In general.
I mean, I will give it that. Granted, I don't remember like if they had to stretch out the story too, because I know they did that with the Killing Joke and it didn't do well.
Yeah.
So, but like, basically the only defense I have for Flashpoint is that it made you want to watch the other animated DC films, and some were great too, like Batman Year One. That was a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, aside from that, it's just a good straight to home movie, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll let you cross that out.
Okay.
Flashpoint off the list.
So what do you think about Zack Snyder's Justice League?
I mean, I personally haven't watched it yet, mostly because I failed to find time for a 4-hour movie.
Really long.
I could watch it like in different sittings, but I just prefer to watch it all in one go when it comes to films.
My thing is Zack Snyder's Justice League is kind of the epitome of everything that is Zack Snyder, both good and bad.
I mean, I could see it.
I wouldn't say it's his best.
Like, I get the idea that Zack was doing with the DC films at the time, and I just don't think it was executed the way he wanted it to be executed.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like even though Justice League is a much better improvement to the original film that was released theatrically, yeah.
And even if the original was already kind of bad, I feel like that one, even if it's better, there's still some things about.
I feel like if this, like Zach's original version, like true original version, mind you, because you know, like this, like the stuff he added more stuff onto it than what he originally wanted to do anyway. Because remember, this was going to be part 1, part 2 kind of thing. So,
yeah.
I still feel like audiences, general audiences, would feel like it wouldn't feel right.
Yeah.
You know, like there'd be something off about it. What do you think?
I love this. I like this movie.
We crossed out 4 so far.
Make it 5 because I'm about to put my hat into the equation of getting rid of Incredible Hulk.
No.
Like, here's my argument.
Right.
This movie and this movie came out at the same time, and only one became renowned. Because when you think of the beginning, you think of this. You tend not to think too much on it. It's sad that we'll never get much of a Hulk property now, but at the same time, we haven't really hit the stride, the best Hulk movie. I think this is kind of like an okay representation.
I mean, I suppose I just feel like I don't know. The Hulk has a lot going against it because like everything's always seems to be screwed over. Because
I mean, that's just the Hulk in general.
I mean, yeah, because like we're not getting another Hulk movie because stupid deals between like Marvel and Universal at the time, which is still going on, and the only way to break it is to make another movie. Like I don't know why Marvel they couldn't just make like an Elseworld or like Hulk movie and get that over with, and then they can start making Hulk movies again. Instead, we're just getting, like Red Hulk and New Captain America or like the leaders. Like I just want to see them with the Hulk, not the other heroes. I mean,
I don't mind that they're in that movie because
it's cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, like in comic books, like some people might say that as like I'm like just cheating on it, but like, if you want to use a character in comics, when you want to use a character that's not part of that normal character, ensemble, it just kind of have to make sure it works well with that. And while it makes sense for those, it just didn't probably work out well for that movie. But I'm sticking. I think we're all in agreement that Incredible Hulk kaput.
Yeah, I think it'd be off the list.
Anyway,
Let's see.
we're 5 down. We need 5 more to go.
You're gonna hate me for this.
All right.
Like, I will say we get rid of Lego Batman. Like, I love. This is a good movie. I love it. It's the only movie. I think maybe the second movie actually where we get the whole Batman family together. I think Batman and Robin was the first.
Technically, yeah, probably, right.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, don't get me wrong, we got the whole family there, even Alfred, goes along with the family.
I will argue in favor of Daniel on this one, bro. That
like
It's a Lego movie first, Batman movie second.
What do you mean it's a Lego movie first?
I mean, it's not even the fact that it's Lego. All the
Like literally, if you just replace all the Legos
like with actual.
with actual people, it
Yeah.
still works as a Batman.
Yeah,
movie.
like because the idea of the Lego movie, it's a parody of Batman. Because Batman,
Yeah.
like we all view Batman as a badass, and then Batman's like, yeah, I'm Batman. I'm just cool like that. And so, yeah, it's just an exaggerated form of the Batman, you know, him being like the coolest guy in the Lego verse. And like, and the whole jokes about especially like, oh, the Joker.
He's taking his time, but I know he's not gonna be there.
Yeah, like I get. There's a lot of funny jokes in there, but it's mostly in the parody form. Like the Joker, he's not my arch nemesis. It's Superman. He thinks he's the best. I'm the best.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Are you willing to concede, or you want to move it to something else?
Like if it wasn't like an original,
If you want to stick with it, I feel like you should throw in another one on there to be like, how about we get rid of that?
could you make a good like parody thing like there's the Tick. I love the Tick.
Yeah.
I wish we could get more of the Tick. But,
Here's my thing. Do you feel like the Lego Batman is a better Batman movie than The Dark Knight or the Matt Reeves Batman?
I think that's unfair to say because like
It kind of is.
this is more
And I'm not saying from like it's live action versus animation.
no, it's not. Like animation can carry the same weight as a live action movie. It's just that these are just two very tonally different movies.
But they're both about Batman. Like, what tells the story of Batman?
It's like saying which Batman show is the better one, Batman the Animated Series or Batman the Brave and the Bold. They're both good shows in their own right, but it's obviously the Animated Series is going to be better than the Brave and the Bold.
I thought you were going to go with Adam West Batman for a second. Like, what's better, Batman the Animated Series or Batman the Virgin?
To be fair, they both have their strengths and weaknesses. Because while we talk about the animated series being like the best, there's still that point where I'm like, you kind of lost your fizzle there, bro.
Because like even then, like even if we were like to give it the argument that even if we were to give it the argument that it's because of the animated movie, there is actually already an animated Batman movie I would say is better than Lego Batman, and that's Mask of the Phantasm.
I as soon as you said that, I'm like, he's gonna say Mask of the Phantasm. If that's the case, then why didn't you put that on the list? Why go with Flashpoint?
He's got you there.
Like
we already reached the 3 level.
Like I didn't remember it until we're starting debating about this.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, did you realize how many comic book movies we have seen and there are out in the wild?
May I add? Yeah, I see. It was the last. But I'm willing to argue maybe we could throw in Black Panther.
To get rid of Black Panther?
Yeah. Like, we're not saying it's the worst.
Remember, this is us debating on which of these deserve to be in the top 10 best comic book movies.
I probably would agree with you. Like, I'll probably maybe put Black Panther maybe top 15.
Black Panther does feel like more of a top 15 movie.
Yeah, I would probably say that too.
Because it would be like, what is it? I mean, if you were at 1, 2, 3, 4. So technically, it'd be the top 14.
Yeah, but that's still within the top 15. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're getting rid of Black Panther.
Okay. Well, all right. You still have that discussion.
So we still got that discussion about Lego Batman.
That could wait.
Okay.
I feel like we're gonna be talking in like circles in that one.
Cause like, I mean, yeah, we'll just save this one later then.
This is a tough one. So we've gotten essentially rid of. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's 6.
Right. We need 4 more to get rid of.
4 more to get rid of, right? So I'm gonna make a suggestion here. Personally, I think we should get rid of V for Vendetta.
Okay.
Alright. Your reasoning.
My only reasoning here is just, and this might be a bit of a weird take, but culturally wise, V for Vendetta, I don't think had a big impact in our culture when it came out, or what afterwards. Obviously, people liked it when it came out, but I don't think anybody really talks about V for Vendetta anymore. You know what I mean?
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
I feel like the mask itself.
Like it's
lasted,
it's mostly a mask because of the anonymous and all that stuff.
Well, yeah, the Guy Fawkes Max has been around even before V for Vendetta.
yeah, that's kind of the point.
Yeah, like I feel like either people remember V for Vendetta is because it's because of the Guy Fawkes Max, or the remember.
Yeah, the ski. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I will accept that.
Okay. So.
It's also, I would also argue the fact that, well, not argue the fact, but also I would say, like, with you, is that while it is a good movie, it doesn't have that, it kind of almost doesn't have the same weight as the book does.
Like, I would say that, like, even though I haven't seen the movie, like, I do know for a fact
It's a good movie.
I'm not debating it, like,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, it took a very different approach because the ending was very different to what it was in the comic.
Alright. Anything else want to take a stab at it?
So we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
That's
3 more to go.
3 more.
I got one.
Okay.
And I think you guys are gonna hate me for this. But I am willing to throw my hat in on Iron Man.
I was just thinking the same.
Joe?
Iron Man?
Yeah.
Like we'll give it credit. Like, this is what started out the MCU and made, like, not just DC, but literally every other company to make their own universe. I mean, Universal tried to do the Dark Universe thing that failed.
It set the standard. It was Robert Downey Jr.'s comeback.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely was. And
Yeah,
he was going through a lot.
It was probably his best one out of the 3 Iron Man movies.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm being honest, I feel like Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man was in some other projects, like say Civil War or Avengers, that just had a lot more.
And I would argue too, like, even outside of the movies, I feel like Iron Man had a greater impact with other movies, what was this Spider-Man movie, the first one called Homecoming.
Yeah.
I feel like he had a great impact in Homecoming. The Avengers movie 1 and the third one. I mean, he was the reason why Avengers 2 happened. Like, accidentally creating Ultron.
Mm-hmm. He has more. It's a good origin story that.
Like, I feel like we get more of his character outside of the Iron Man films.
I agree. We can take that off.
All right.
So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 more to go, gentlemen. Do you have a bid for anyone? I see one. I don't know how you guys would feel about this. It is a difficult one to suggest, but I'm willing to put my hat in for Guardians 2. Unless someone has something else to throw.
Like, you're probably going to have to pay the hotel just to bring the whole mess up after this, but I probably would suggest Superman 2.
Ooh.
Yeah. It pains me to say that too. It pains me to say that too, because this is a great film and an important film as well.
What do you think, bro?
Because
I put my hat for Guardians 2. He put his hat for Superman 2.
I'm going to be even more contrarian and say I personally believe we take Scott Pilgrim off.
no.
What?
No, come on, man.
But are you saying Scott Pilgrim versus the World is a better movie than Superman 2 and Guardians 2?
He can be debated with Guardians 2, but I personally would say Scott Pilgrim's better than Superman 2.
No.
And there it is.
I don't.
Yep. Sown the seeds.
This is why we have him. He knows how to get people fighting.
Yeah.
He's a good instigator. I'm willing to say this is gonna hurt me. Watchmen.
You want to cross out Watchmen?
I want to cross out Watchmen.
Okay, Lamar Thomas. Like,
Why do you deserve? Why do you think it doesn't
like,
deserve
I know
to
you
be
wrote
top
down
10?
Watchmen, but what made you change your mind?
It's like what does the same thing for V for Vendetta. It lacks the weight. It's like so true to the comic from panel to panel And like, yeah, it has some cool moments. Like one of my favorite moments being when Rorschach and Night Owl walking in like the snowstorm with Jimi Hendrix all on the watchtower playing in the background.
Yeah.
That shit was cinematic.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but the changes to it, the stuff that they made with Watchmen, kind of ignored the whole point of Watchmen. That these people are kind of damaged. That these people need help.
Like, and that, and they're not great people at the end of the day.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, that could be the main reasoning is that for as much as faithful as it is to the original, you could argue that Snyder may have
His Snyderisms still show.
yeah.
Like we're not shitting on Zack. It's
like-
just more like he sometimes.
Like, yes, it's starting to style when it comes to his movies.
Yeah. So we're in agreement to get rid of Watchmen.
I mean, I'll cross it off the way out there. I mean, like I said, I haven't seen the movie.
In terms of top 10 superhero movies, yeah, I think Watchmen. I think we could definitely cross out Watchmen if we're gonna. That only leaves us with one slot, right?
This is slot number 11.
All right, so we got
4, 5,
Superman
6, 7, 8. Right? Or am I hold on? Let me recount this.
Yeah.
Right. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. One more, and
Okay.
we have our top 10.
Here's a way we can come to an agreement. This would be spot 11 if this was like a top 20. Is there a movie here that you feel like it could be top 11?
Lego Batman.
See, my only defense, maybe at this point, would be
Like, it's funny where you rule Lego Batman too, because it's right next to Spider-Verse.
Yeah, but no one wants to not touch Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
That movie hit in a way that no one expected.
No, like, I mean, Sony, we saw what they did with Venom and Morbius. I wasn't expecting Spider-Verse to watch it, so I went to see it opening night. I was by myself at that theater, and I was hit with a surprisingly amazing movie.
Exactly. I think a lot of people were not expecting that to be as good.
No, like, I should have told people, I was like, guys, I'm dead serious. I'm not kidding. Like, Spider-Verse is actually a good movie. You need to go watch it.
It won an Oscar. Was it Oscar? Or
Oscar for Best
Oscar.
Animated Film. Yeah.
Oscar.
This is one of the very few movies that actually beat Disney for Best Animated Film.
Yeah.
so.
I'm putting my hat in Guardians too.
For the off the list.
Yeah. For spot 11.
I'll still fight for to get Lego Batman off.
I still say Scott Pilgrim deserves to be number 11.
No.
Okay.
Like, don't get me wrong, it's a good movie.
Okay.
It hits all the points it needs to hit.
Here's the thing.
It has a very interesting ending.
Do you want the top 10 to have 3 Batman movies?
Well, one is animated. If you really wanted to, you
But
could
then-
get rid of either The Dark Knight or Matt Reeves' Batman.
But that's a whole other argument as well.
Yeah.
Because like these are two amazing.
Because
films.
again, like I said, is the Lego Batman movie are
I
which
don't
of these
wanna-
3
I
Batman movies
I don't think
is
I
better
would
than
get
the
rid-
other? Because we're gonna have a debate eventually 2 of them. Because realistically, there's gonna be 2 Batman movies on this list.
He's right. Even if we do get rid of Lego Batman, there's still essentially like 2 Spider-Mans and 2 Batman movies on the top 10 list.
Yeah, but the difference is like we have like 2 different mediums and also like 2 different movies.
Exactly. So why can't we have 2 different mediums of Batman movies?
So what you're arguing is that we have to get rid of one of the 2 live-action Batman movies.
Yeah.
Then which one would you want to get rid of?
Now that's the question, isn't it?
And I think, okay, so are you willing to accept maybe 3 in Batman movies in the top 10 slot?
I wouldn't mind it, but like with Lego movie there, I mean, like I said, like we could pick another Batman movie. Like I feel like there's only so few like Batman movies. Like I said, Lego with Batman's better than like Batman and Robin. What's another one?
Are you really willing to say Batman and Robin?
Like
I know that's a soft spot for a lot of us, but are you really willing to say that?
Like, like we all have fun with Batman and Robin. It's not per se a traditional Batman movie in its rap itself, but compared to everything else, I mean, even with the Lego Batman movie, I would put like anything with the George Clooney Batman like below Lego movie.
I think we've all reached an impasse. We have to come up with something. Like for me, I'm still on the Guardians Volume 2. I do enjoy those movies. I do think they do what you said, but I don't think I could put it in a top 10.
Like I don't know, like okay, how about this? Like these two movies, they have a sacrifice scene, and they're both good sacrifice scenes, but I think the scene in Guardians Volume 2 had a stronger impact than the Lego Batman.
Well, yeah, Alfred doesn't die. That's probably why it's a stronger impact.
Well, like, no, it wasn't even Alfred. It was Batman.
Oh yeah. You know what I mean.
I'm willing to argue against that, mostly because the whole point of that movie was Bruce trying to open himself up to be in a family and to finally confront that issue he already had. While Guardians 2 was centered around like every character's parental issues.
I mean, it's not just that, but it's also you don't have to be family with the people that
No, but that's kind of the point. What I'm saying.
Yeah.
Each one of them have like Gamora and Peter both, and Nego as well, have parental issues involving like with a mother and father. But they kind of all of them are coming together to make a family. I guess you could argue. What I'm trying to say is, Guardians 1 established the found family. Guardians 2 reinforced it, but it felt like we were just repeating the same plot point.
I mean, somewhat, but then again, you have Nebula becomes part of the Guardians, basically.
Yeah, because like she learns to forgive her sister because like it wasn't her fault. They were both trying not to avoid the wrath of their father.
Yeah.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Both have small parental issues.
Let's see.
Here's my question: why does Scott Pilgrim deserve to be in the top 10 in your guys' opinions? That's my selection to be off the list. Because I was making my argument earlier of like
I feel like there has to be at least one movie in the top 10 that was at least coming from the independent circuit.
Cause like look at the list so far. We got like superhero.
Well, yeah. It's the main Marvel DC. I see. I guess I see your reasoning.
Like we're gonna get shit like in the comments or anything like that. Like all this Marvel and DC. Do these people watch any actual like movies that's not Marvel and DC? Yes, we do. We just couldn't remember them.
I mean, also like depends on how well executed they are too, because like Hellboy is not the Hellboy of the comics.
Like no, and every Hellboy is different too. It's like I can't remember like what was the name of the actor, but he was in Stranger Things, and that one that wasn't.
Yeah.
That wasn't well received.
The one that came afterwards that no one watched.
Yeah, and then there's another one that's more of a horror movie.
That's the one.
Like which I heard was surprisingly decent for what it is, but yeah.
We had to make an agreement on something.
Okay. Argument, but how about we go back to the conversation about Superman too?
No, but see, I feel like Superman, there has to be at least a Superman movie in the top 10.
Like, I get it, but the only reason I would point to Superman 2 is because we never got a Superman film that's in the same caliber as Spider-Man or Batman.
Not yet.
I mean, because Zack Snyder tried to do something with Man of Steel, but I don't think it was. It wasn't as well.
Okay, I'm gonna throw this out there just to see what your thoughts are. Why not Captain America: Winter Soldier?
Here's my thing about why not Cap, because starting to look at the list here, there are only 2 MCU movies on here. Yes, Spider-Man. We have 2 Spider-Man movies, but these are 2 Spider-Man movies not part of the MCU.
Yeah, keep in mind this is a Sony movie.
Actually, no, technically 3 with Guardians. So I was thinking about Avengers, Captain America, and Guardians. That's three.
Right.
Which is not a bad, like,
That's
you know.
another part. We got 3 Batman movies and 3
Okay.
MCUs.
I am willing to concede on Superman 2.
See, I don't think that's worth it though, because when you look at it, we can't have the 3 DC movies be all Batman movies. Let's be real with ourselves.
He's right, though.
Yeah.
Like, that just perpetuates
Okay,
Batman's.
okay.
You know.
Can I see it?
I mean,
Daniel. Would you really argue Guardians 2 should be on the top along with Avengers 3 and Cap 2?
it's not even fair, man, because, like, Guardians, I would say it's on the same level with Captain America, but Avengers is a bigger movie than Guardians 2.
So you're willing to say one of these two maybe has to go?
You know.
Like I'm a big Marvel fan, but there's still a lot that I didn't know that surprised me. For example, like the whole Prowler reveal, that shocked me. Like I knew who Miles was, I didn't know this at all.
Prowler was his uncle.
Yeah, that really shocked me when I was watching it in theaters. Same with Captain America. Like, yeah, I knew he had a sidekick, Bucky, and I was wondering, like, okay, he's dead. We're not seeing him again.
So what you're saying is you were more involved in this one?
Like, I don't know. I mean,
Alright, so he's being conflicted. What about you, bro?
like maybe I have a soft spot for this one because it plays a lot into
That's
the
okay.
music.
I mean, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If we get rid of it, it's at least number 11.
You know.
It teeters almost to top 10.
I might. Like. I think I.
You have to remind me there because that's true. I would.
What were you gonna say?
No, I'm just saying. I think, with all due respect, you know, I think I might be okay with not relenting, but relinquishing Lego Batman from the list.
It's funny because I'm Guardians too.
Only because what you,
Have another step.
what you guys said earlier about, you know, the amount of movies of which version were realistically, right? That would be 3 Batman movies. And if you guys are very serious in believing that both The Dark Knight and Matt Reeves' Batman are, you know, deserving on the list.
Mostly because I feel like they're both on the opposite ends of what makes Batman the best.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like why it's hard for me to essentially get rid of these two. One, because we have to admit that The Dark Knight has made that closer impact.
Yeah.
But we also have to admit that the Batman, the Matt Reeves Batman, did things that was never been done with Batman in a long time.
Yeah, so that's why I think I'm okay with relinquishing it, because at the end of the day, it is number 11 basically.
Yeah.
So if you want to cross out Lego Batman, you can do it.
I think that's a good. I think I can all agree with that.
I mean, yeah.
All right, we have our top 10.
Like, there's nothing
Not
wrong.
our top 10, but our 10 selected.
Like, there's nothing wrong with that, man. It's like say like it's like we're making like a top 10 TV shows and we put Superhero Squad against Avengers Mighty Heroes.
I mean, that's you know, it's a bit more nuanced than you know that, but sure, I guess you want to go that route.
Alright, so this is the ones that we have, and a lot of 2s.
Like
Superman 2.
A lot of times sequels are usually the baddest of the trilogy.
And they're done right.
I mean, yeah, like,
Done right.
like we got Zod, we got Doc Ock, we got Ego. I built a character they actually have to work with Fox about getting the rights to use it because that was actually owned by Fox.
Alright, so let's just, to put a cap on this, ladies and gentlemen. Superman 2. Guardians 2. Spider-Man 2. The Dark Knight. Batman. Matt Reeves Batman. Avengers. Logan. Scott Pilgrim. Captain America Winter Soldier. And Into the Spider-Verse.
Yep, those are
And we will be
10. Those are the ones we'll be trying to figure out.
how to list 10.
Yes.
Yeah.
And thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We've been here for a long time.
Yep.
And yeah, it's gonna be a while. We're gonna have to really argue about these. But thank you for checking us out. If you enjoyed what you heard and heard us arguing a lot, be sure to follow us on all social medias: Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Also, on Instagram, where you'll find a podcast link. A link to all the podcasts or all the places you can find this Instagram page. Sorry, I'm kind of running dry. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all that good stuff, and the YouTube's where you can find Face's voice, especially if you want to see how just do this. And a Patreon for any form of support. But yes, we'll be finishing this off at Comicpalooza. And we'll be back by then. Anyways, be me and Boy Eli.
And Daniel.
Leave Joe.
You guys have a good night.